Hey guys, Mr. Miller here, and this is my presentation, again, my little video note about one of the most famous civil law cases in American history. Again, it's been immortalized in many ways, again, sometimes in comedic fashion. Okay, so one of the reasons this case became so famous and so kind of either reviled or kind of like lampooned on TV is because it combines two very common, famous, and American things: hot coffee. Again, I still have my hot coffee beside me from this morning. And again, the big name in fast food, McDonald's. Again, if you happen to work for McDonald's or you happen to work for, again, their fast food, I'm not kind of making fun of you. This is just, McDonald's is a massive billion-dollar company, and they are one of the kind of focuses of this case. Okay, so again, you could watch this video on your own, but again, one of the kind of bizarre lawsuit kind of YouTube videos I found from Too Ridiculous, again, definitely a reputable source. Again, it prominently features, again, this particular case, and it has like a scary picture of Ronald McDonald and an old lady with glasses and the kind of caption, "Grandma wins $3 million." Another video you could watch on your own time, again, I particularly enjoy this one, is this whole story is made fun of and kind of used as a plot on an episode of the 1990 show Seinfeld. So again, this was definitely in the 1990s very much a part of popular culture. Again, you can watch it on your own time though. Okay, I'm just going to go through some of the basic facts of the case. What people often remember, or kind of when they think about it, they hear that 30-second news clip about the hot coffee case. The case citation is Liebeck versus McDonald's. So again, it is a woman, Stella Liebeck, and she is suing the company McDonald's. And it's 79-year-old Stella Liebeck spills McDonald's coffee on her lap after going through the drive-through. So she can imagine she goes up to kind of the speaker, says she wants a coffee. She gets the coffee and actually puts it between her legs. And then she spills it on herself. So again, I've spilled coffee on myself a million times. Usually, again, I wear beige or brown pants because I spill coffee on myself all the time. But she sued and she complained that the coffee was too hot. She sues McDonald's and wins $600,000 in general damages. So general damages just mean damages for to cover medical bills, to cover lost wages, to cover kind of getting healthy again and getting her life back in order. And she's also awarded something called punitive damages, $2.7 million in punitive damages. And punitive damages is meant to punish the other side, not to really like pay for anything in particular for Miss Liebeck, but to punish McDonald's for something the court believed was so egregious and terrible, they need to pay financially to fix this. And ABC News called this the poster child for frivolous lawsuits. I talked about in a previous video, the civil kind of part of the court system is very slow. Again, you wait a long time, usually, if you sue somebody to see the inside of a courtroom, if you ever do see the inside of a courtroom. And they blamed this case in particular and made kind of a point to say this was the poster child. This is why your case takes so long to get to court. And they did try and change the law to make it harder for these cases to be brought through. So often, again, this is what people hear. This is what they hear in the news clip or the YouTube video or lampooned on Seinfeld, and it upsets them. Because, well, coffee is supposed to be hot. She shouldn't have put that coffee between her legs. She was doing something dangerous and reckless. And McDonald's, yeah, they did the right thing in a sense where they provided something people assumed to be true. They gave a customer who ordered hot coffee. So a lot of people get upset about this and they think, why does Stella Liebeck deserve any money? It's not McDonald's fault she spilled coffee on herself. But there are other important facts you have to consider when hearing about the Liebeck case. So, according to McDonald's procedure, the handbook, coffee was never supposed to be hotter than 60 degrees Celsius. But in this case, it was served at 88 degrees Celsius, almost the boiling point of water. So, when Liebeck said, and her lawyer said, the coffee was too hot, it was too hot. Again, this would burn you if you could put it into your mouth or put it onto your arm. The coffee was being heated too long. And what I've heard from people who've worked for coffee shops and for, again, not McDonald's, but Tim Hortons and other coffee shops, coffee is often heated to this temperature to make sure it lasts longer so they don't have to remake it again and again and again. Liebeck also suffered third-degree burns to her legs. And remember, this is an old woman, again, who was substantially burned by this hot coffee. So it did cause a medical issue, a bad one. And she actually got something called necrosis and needed numerous skin grafts. Necrosis is when your skin dies. So again, it won't repair itself. Young people, again, and I'm not sure if I can consider myself young anymore, but again, when we hurt ourselves or we do something to our skin, it naturally just heals itself. But if you suffer from necrosis, it doesn't and your skin dies. So she needed skin grafts, donor skin. And she was also permanently disfigured. And she weighed less than 88 pounds when she left the hospital. It is a miracle she even survived. And another important fact, Liebeck attempted to settle before the trial for medical bills, for lost wages. Again, it wasn't actually for that much. And kind of another thing to consider about this is an American case, and medical bills can be substantially expensive. They don't have the universal healthcare system that we do. Again, we walk over to Grand River Hospital, which I can see right now as I'm recording, and we don't have to pay anything typically when we go in and go out. Sometimes we have to pay for pharmaceutical drugs, but that's it. And another thing to consider, this is a 79-year-old woman, and she's working. Again, she's lost money. Again, that's another kind of thing to consider from this case. This is an old woman, 79. I plan at 79 to be long retired, and she's still working. And lastly, McDonald's refused to settle. So they knew the facts of the case. They didn't just listen to kind of the sound bites they were hearing on the news. They ignored a lot of the facts I presented on the last slide about the coffee being too hot and her injuries being too substantial. So again, that's part of the reason, again, those punitive damages were kind of given to McDonald. They were punished financially for this. So it's also important to realize and kind of think about that initial kind of concept or idea, or what I want you to be considering whenever you hear about a story or a case or you're studying something, especially from the legal perspective. You always need to keep an open mind and make sure you have an informed opinion. When the US Congress was trying to pass those laws, making it harder to sue people, again, a lot of big companies, again, McDonald's included, were very much in favor of this, because they knew that would save them a lot of money. Even if the lawsuits were legitimate, if they got Congress to vote to kind of make it harder for the average Stella Liebeck to sue, they'll have less lawsuits and lose less money at trial. So the importance of an informed opinion when we make our decisions, because often when we hear the story, we harshly judge Stella Liebeck, and we don't know the true facts of the case. Okay. That's it for the note.